So any other comments from the panel?
My comment would be, I'm not going to imagine a world without this data. If you're a manufacturer and you don't completely yet understand why you need to have this data for us, it's time to get on board. We have to have this information. We're talking even about in distribution, if our inventory isn't accurate and a customer calls and the computer says there's something on the shelf and it isn't, we just lost that sale, right? So our inventory, we cycle count, I'm sure everybody's heard this, our inventory is 99.7% accurate because we cycle count. We couldn't do it if the products weren't barcoded, right? If that information wasn't in our system, we couldn't have that tight inventory. We run a very disciplined business. We have to have this information. You talk about ease of doing business. We're shipping something out by UPS, the customer wants to pay freight. The weight is there. The person, the inside salesperson at their desk bills out the freight. I can't tell you before all this or without it how much money we lose by trying to estimate freight. Right? So I'm not going to imagine a world without this. What I'm up here, and the reason why I'm up here, is to really plead to the manufacturers to get on board. Please give us this data. We will do amazing things with it.
Yep.
Yeah, I do have one thing to add. So, and thank you. We'll pay out after the session here. We've actually contemplated this in terms of idea and what we should be doing, because if you take a look at, there exists a natural state in the marketplace, and so even if we didn't exist, you talk about the thousands of requests and how you'd fulfill those. And so there'd be a simple flat file kind of format that would get exchanged and the most things that people would agree on. And so I'm going to sit here and say we have not been the easiest company to work with in terms of getting data in and getting data out. Show of hands, people who agree? Yeah. Don't be shy, you can put your hand up, we know it. So we're in the process, and actually this news is only 48 hours old. Our board of directors authorized us to build a new technical platform, which is what we're launching on this week. And so we are going to try and get to that natural state of the marketplace where it's simple, it's easy to do business, that we ought to offer a more modern interface so that flat files can go back and forth and they can be absorbed and used in the way that the distributors want to, and that it's easier to get in on the manufacturer's part. So when you think about this, how would these data transactions take place? That's ideally where we're trying to get to.
Excellent. Any other comments that you would like to share with the group? We might have time for like 1 or 2 questions from the audience.
Denise, I just had some thoughts to pile on here a little bit, the importance of data from a manufacturer's perspective. When we're meeting with our key suppliers, our manufacturers, as they should be, are very proud of their innovation and the products they sell. They're ultimately trying to differentiate their products in the marketplace. And we're all about differentiating too, and I think our web commerce does that. But if you think about the enriched attributes that we're required or we're looking for in those 43 fields, and I know there's been concern about perhaps commoditizing products. There's been concern about losing control of those products. As you said earlier, I think this should be driven by the manufacturers. They should control what content we get. I mean, they own it, they're the expert. But I would challenge them to say, because I know they're committed to differentiating, but I can't think of anything that differentiates more than enriched content on a website. And so if we want to take market share and we want to grow, just like we do traditionally, because when we're talking about traditional sales processes, there's a lot of talk about differentiation and innovative products, new products. So let's be proactive and get that enriched data out on our web so we can differentiate the products the same way through an e-commerce channel. So again, I know there's some trepidation there, but that's where I think we can do a lot better, particularly as web commerce continues to grow, and making sure we're using those attributes to differentiate the products electronically.
You just made me remember one of my favorite stories, so I got to tell you this. It's kind of sad, but it is true. My parents actually owned a flat screen TV before I did, okay? So it wasn't that long ago that I went out to replace my fat widescreen Sony TV, and I went to Best Buy. and I had a compelling reason to buy a TV because they now had the smart TV functionality. And I thought, how cool is that? The web on TV, I can stream and do all this great stuff. So compelling. So I go into Best Buy, I'm looking at 2 models, okay? $2,500 and $2,000. And I'm looking at the list of what we would call attributes. They both have the same screen size, they both have the same gigahertz, they both have the smart TV functionality, and I'm running through it and I can't find a difference. So the salesperson comes over and he's like, can I help you? And I said, gosh, I sure hope you can, because I can't tell the difference between these 2 models. What's different? So he starts looking at it, does the same comparison, and he goes, I don't know. Wait a minute. We sometimes have more information in our back room from the manufacturers. Let me go look. He starts rummaging through his stuff and he goes, you know what? I can't tell the difference. I can't tell the difference. 2 things. I know what the difference was at that point. It was $500. Right? It was $500. Those TVs were made by the same manufacturer. The manufacturer had failed to provide the data that differentiated their market or their products in the marketplace, and at that point it could have come down to a pricing decision. And I think that's the last thing that we want to see in this industry, is that those kinds of decisions come down to the lowest price. We do not want to race to the bottom. And so here's my trick question for you. Which TV do you think I bought? You're right. I went home. I didn't buy either one of them. I thought it was too important of a purchase not to have all the information that I needed to know that I was buying the right TV that, you know, is probably going to stay with me for quite a while. So,
Good
anyway.
Story. I like that story.
Yeah.
Great.
Isn't that great? And I think we got to remember that as we're creating our data. Now, do we have any questions out there? Anyone? Oh, we have one right here. Larry.
Is this working now? Perfect. So maybe it's a trick question, but I can't help but ask this one. After listening to everything that all you said up there, with the importance of the data, the enriched data that we need as distributors and we need as an industry and we need in one source in the IDW with IDEA. Paul, and maybe the 4th band member, Mike, maybe you can answer this question. What pushback or what do you hear from any manufacturer that may be sitting in this room or anywhere else that says, I don't need to provide this data, or it's too costly to provide this data, or I don't have the resources to provide this data? What are you still getting manufacturers that are saying this, or what other excuses might they be using that we as distributors or as industry need to have those conversations with them to overcome?
Yeah, you know, we don't have anybody who comes to us and says they don't want to provide us the data. I think what we see a lot of, and especially through acquisition and other means, is that the data is so far scattered for some folks that it's really hard for them to pull it together. And then we get caught up in, you know, they're combining ERP systems and they're doing all of these things internally. But we really don't have any people who come along and say that they don't want to provide us the data. It's really been about the pace of the way that we get there. There are some who commit tremendous resources, Mike, I know you did, in order to pull their data together and get it to us. But everybody generally wants to go in the direction. They know it's the right direction. It's just you know, it's a function of time and budget. And at times that becomes very difficult for some folks. I've had manufacturers who've told me they've spent $1 million achieving compliance, which is phenomenal. And then we're asking for excellence on top of that. And so I know that they want to get there. You know, our data certification program, we've got all of the names on the boards next to the registration desk. We've created this competition now, and nobody wants to be the last one to appear on that board. So everybody's heading in that direction. It's a function of time, and we're staying on them to the best of our ability in order to get them excellent and eventually certified.
Great, thank you. And now, do we have any other questions? And I know that we're getting close to the end of our time together. So if there's not another question, let's do the wrap up. Just would like to say, I think that after you've heard our panelists, it would be very hard to walk away from this session and not really understand that that quality data does play a vital role in e-commerce systems, bill of material, everywhere. Is there anything that you do in a day or that your team does in a day that doesn't require good product information to help you move and sell products in the marketplace? Probably not. And interesting statistic, a couple of things. Do you know that 40% of all business initiatives fail due to poor quality content? And on top of that, there's another big obstacle, and that's 52% of companies say that they lack support from the business in the form of resources and training to properly manage their data. And I just would say to this to you, for all of you who are bosses and the leaders of your company, and until and unless you go back to your organization and say, our data is important to us and we are going to invest in it, we are going to invest in the creation of quality data and the sharing and maintaining of that quality data, it's never going to get done. It's never going to happen. We really need, again, the full commitment from not just every person in this room, but even for all of those who are not in this room. We need the full participation of the industry to ensure the long-term success of the channel. And Bill Gates said, how you gather and manage and use quality data will determine whether you win or you lose. And there's probably 100 other comments from business leaders across the globe who talk like that. We can learn from that, and we need to make sure that we're taking the steps to ensure our success. And I know that you have a lot of choices about the dollars that you invest and where you're going to invest them. And it seems to me that most people are willing to invest in the systems because it just seems so tangible. But I'd like to leave you with this parting thought. Data is a precious thing, and it's going to outlast any system that you buy. So when you think about all of the investments that you're making, don't forget to make the investment in your data. And let's face it, manufacturers, when you create your products, it's an asset that you already own and that you're creating. Use that to your fullest advantage, and know that when you're providing quality content, you're providing a strategic asset to your channel partners. So with that, I would like to thank our entire panel here this morning for their time and their preparation and for sharing their views and thoughts with you on the importance of data. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks. Thanks.
And now just a couple other things. I want to acknowledge the Manufacturer Council who sponsored this panel. This is the listing of all of the individuals who will be on that council next year, but we also had a few that were coming off the council as well, and I want to thank them for investing in us and believing in us to invite us here this morning. And I also want to say we have some handouts that talk about the benefits of the Industry Data Warehouse. I don't know if they were able to get those on your tables, but if not, we'll have people by the doors. Make sure you take those with you. If you can't quite put it all in your briefcase, know that we're going to make it available to you online. And one more final comment, and I will let you guys go. That is, we've got Hill Davis, who's going to be coming in to talk about the disruptors and those who, as Sandy said, are assaulting our channel. And I don't know if you guys saw the Forbes article that came out, but Amazon Business just hit $1 billion in sales in a 12-month period of time. They're offering 9 million parts online. The traditional distributor offers about 50,000. They have about 500,000 parts that they are offering a discount quantity pricing on, and they're beta testing customer specific pricing. They are a disruptor. I've heard everyone say Amazon, we can't out Amazon, but here's what I admire about Amazon, guys. They're innovative. That's what we should be learning from Amazon. That's what we should take away to our businesses. We don't want to replicate what Amazon is doing, because that would only make us the same, right? We need to be different and we need to be better, and we can do that by working together in the industry and being innovative. So Hill Davis is going to come in and talk about how to combat those disruptors. So I hope that you'll stay around for that as well. And again, thank you so much for all your time this morning. I appreciate it.